you don't miss it.
What?
Twitter. You've kind of left it.
No, because I see everything through the Dojo account. Yeah. I just don't
comment.
Yeah, I don't tweet, and what made it even easier is the fact that I told myself that I'm gonna reserve my opinions for the pod.
Yeah. This is your outlet.
Yeah.
Vocalize them.
I don't have to go thread.
Yeah.
Who am I doing that shit? Yeah.
The effort.
I'll come in thread.
It's tedious.
Yes.
Plus, I think our problem with sometimes with socials, a lot gets lost in characters.
Yes. Yes.
On a pod, you can just get out everything, even your tone of what you're trying to say.
Hash it out. Yeah.
Clear.
So that's what made it easy. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna use this. This is my platform now. I don't have to go and write.
And it's longer format.
Think pieces on.
Think pieces, open letters.
Oh, hey, people are busy there. But it's fun though, But yeah, it's. I got over it. People assume that I left it because I got married, or my wife told me to. But that's not true. I just, bro, like I've been on Twitter for so long. It just stopped becoming.
It wasn't what it was.
Like, it's not.
It wasn't. It wasn't.
And I'm like, it's one day I just asked myself, like, what the fuck am I doing here? What am I doing here?
People don't want you to grow because they don't realize that's actually growth. To outgrow a platform.
Or outgrow something.
Stuck in it. And it becomes a cycle of like same conversations.
Same people.
Mm-hmm.
Same energy. Actually, it's funny you mentioned that. I've always found it weird in human behavior that sometimes growth is frowned upon. Like they might actually look at you, like they will look at you some type of way, or like you too good for this now, huh? You can't drink in the hood no more, huh? Because your postcode is this, huh? Modisa can't come by, or the homies in the hood. But that energy is funny, but it's actually true because people like to circle in those spaces. Because I mean, if you're reading of it, it's a social platform. If you were there in the inception of Twitter, by now you've seen it all.
Yeah, and I now have a newfound love for Facebook.
Is it
really?
That's where I live. I'm on Facebook. I like
Meta.
I like the I like the I like, and it's so refreshing now. And I used to be uppity about it when I was on Twitter. When I was very active on Twitter, I used to be very I used to look down.
Yeah, I've always found that funny. Like it's actually interesting. Like I wish someone would come up with that. Should be worth the think piece. Like how Twitter people, especially like when Twitter's really popping off in any space of Twitter. There was that whole looking your nose down at Facebook people.
Yeah.
And like the jokes about, I remember the running jokes about the Facebook people. We probably hear about this next week, amongst other things, the memes.
Yeah.
But the energy in that space is just kind of different.
And it feels like home now.
Because those are people for most part. Those are people
real connections.
I think that's exactly why that's the case, because these are people I know. I know these people. I've spoken to these people.
There's real connections.
Yeah, like this ignorant that this nigga is typing here. This is him.
Exactly. You know him through and through. You know what he's about.
I like how it's a as toxic as some people might want to call it, or non-progressive, it's really an accurate representation of what society
is. It's a true reflection,
Yes.
Because even with Facebook,
you can actually tell who's informed, who's not informed, who's in the middle.
Yes.
But you're right, it's a reflection of society. So what people would generally do is, when they see there's a fair amount of people that may be misinformed, so then they call it the village.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The village jokes, but the other thing is
which makes sense to their context. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean it's not a great platform. Like Facebook is like literally going to be here to stay.
Yeah.
Because like you need a way to connect to the people you know personally,
and that's the best platform.
And there isn't a lot of those places.
And the contrast is always so. It's always so like
it's an eye opener because there's subgroups on Facebook. Like she's saying, like there's the people who are informed. Then like you might have the homie who, because you know him personally, even if he spots ignorance, there's people like him, but just the way it's received and how it works on Facebook is a little bit different to other platforms. But
what I find interesting is that even the informed, maybe not when it comes to like technical or scientific stuff, but just like opinions on certain things. You find that even the most informed, or people that you would expect to be more progressive than the others, are still with the flock. Like for example, if I remember Caesar put out a tweet some time back saying that he would never leave a wife for cheating. Right? And that like he wouldn't be willing to throw away his entire life or all the plans that he's made with his women over
cheating allegations.
Over cheating. It's not
Yeah.
It's not worth the
Yeah.
the
The hassle.
distraction, you know.
Yeah, nigga, you smash, but you're not that important.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm not like this
I'm not destroying all this.
this doesn't unravel my life.
Yeah.
You know,
or what
so
you've built.
so they took that screenshot, and you know, on Twitter, you know, there was a large number of people that, you know, sort of understood the rationale.
Yeah.
You know, screenshot that thing, put it on Facebook, and find out laughing stock, weak trend,
Really?
weak trend. Look at this idiot.
Yeah.
Like it's there's a lot of judgment, and that's how society.
It's a
Like,
true reflection of society.
Like another
fair.
example, if you think about the whole Will and Jada thing,
Yeah.
the
right?
petition.
Yeah, like when you look at that relationship, like these are two people that have gotten, like, they formulated their own rules insofar as how they
A
conduct
relationship.
Yeah.
their marriage.
Mm.
Do you understand? And society is not very kind to people that don't go along
Conform.
the social
Yeah.
norm, right? So now you might find that this guy, he has absolutely no problem with this woman saying the thing that she says on whatever platform, be it an interview and anything, right? But he starts to have a problem with it because you in his ear about it.
Yeah. Because they agreed a long time ago.
Yeah. So now, something that he might not have had a problem with
Yes,
starts to become a
initially
problem, because you are now
yes.
you humiliating him.
Yeah.
It's
Which
third
then
parties.
looks as if she's but it's not her, it's you.
Yeah, but
You know?
but he's also allowed to change his stance because that's what happened, right?
Yeah.
He's changing his stance.
I don't think it's changing his
I
stance.
don't think-
I
I
think
don't
what
think
Mo was
so.
saying is like it's third parties now, like blowing up something that you and I from the get go. This is what we agreed, and we've been doing it for the longest time. So we have an understanding, but now with third parties now being all in your ear about how this is not the norm, it's not socially acceptable. You then might have, it becomes a gray area for you, but this is something that you were always fine with.
Yeah, think about somebody that says something sideways to you in front of people, right?
And
And
repeatedly.
you want to let that go, and then somebody said you're gonna let that shit slide.
Exactly.
You're
Because
gonna let that man talk
to you like that, and you a man in front of your woman.
If you were gonna let it go, that's the stance you took. And
Consistency.
if that guy says, "Are you gonna?"
Yeah.
Now you change your stance. You are changing it.
Yeah, but let
Because
it
your initial reaction, yes, whether it's influenced, it might be influenced.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if that's what you want to discuss.
No, the
fact
point that I'm making is you're walking away then stops becoming comfortable.
Yeah.
Like walking away becomes so. Like
But that's the decision you
there's
took.
There's so much friction with you now having to let this shit slide.
It's an
normally it would have been easy, but now we are making it so difficult. Are you really
Like-
gonna let this?
Yeah, like
That's-
Ojilam said work, and
That's what I hate. That's what I hate about society. Like I hate
It's
I-
societal
like, I
pressure.
feel like they won't let this couple
be.
be.
Do you know what's odd?
Like it annoys me. Like almost like it's just like okay, but to be honest, like, and it's always been known that these people have a sort of
Open marriage.
unique, you know,
situation.
Sort of, yeah.
But
We've known since the
but
90s
there's a
that
flip side
Jada had a
to
thing
it.
for Pac,
Yeah.
bro.
There's a flip side to it that which comes at their expense. To be honest, it opens society. Because how many people wanna be open, but they just don't know if that's okay.
I think
I think there's quite a large number.
And this
more-
relationship makes it okay.
actually it does the opposite. This
No,
relationship.
for those,
Yeah,
not for majority. For the people that always wanted an open relationship, the fact that there's a couple that's out there saying they could do whatever and their marriage is still not going to be shaken.
Thank you for saying
It opens up for because like in our terms, we always thought like if you want more than one, it's got to be polygamy. And they were like, it can't be just that. It can be anything.
It can be there's variations, yeah.
You know, and they're normalizing it. So that's what I'm saying. It comes at their expense. I can understand their expense and their inconvenience. But for the greater society,
I think
Society does
Will's
not-
gotta pay the
society does
price,
not
man.
like, yeah, and
Yeah.
he's paying
big
Yo,
time.
I hate how he's paying. I'm like, I wish people could just leave this man alone, bro.
he's a superstar, dog. Like, he's a childhood hero.
Because
We grew up on Will. To see him like this in his...
Red-eyed at the
Red
red
eyes.
table.
being told about entanglements, but you did make, to bring you back to the point where you said it's not the majority, because there are people who are out there who, for the longest time, they share the same perspective. But like Mo said, societal pressure is actually a real thing. You are gonna empire of the sheep, like Stogie. You are gonna, if you don't conform, there are people I'm sure would love to be in open. There's people who do these things on the low, whereas Will and Jada bring out in public spaces. For whatever reasons, whether it's family, religion, background, you can't come out and even be pro that. So some people, it's like that nervous laugh people do when someone says something and it sounds crazy, but you laugh, but really inside like, yo, this person's making sense for the sake of not getting judged. So they are the minority in this situation. So even if it's a powerful celeb couple, not too many people are gonna ride for them and like be like, yo, there's actually something to this. Because like I'm a firm believer that even if you want something, people don't like, even from a child, it's like when you're kids, no one likes getting laughed at. That's something that doesn't change in any setting. Yeah. So even if you believe, that's why a lot of people might not put their beliefs front and center. You might believe something, so you have an arrangement, but to put out in a public space like they've done.
Yeah, and I like that you said that, because when Will was red-eyed at that red table.
Red-eyed.
It just came again.
I thought to myself that, is he red-eyed really because of the act? Or is it because of the humiliation?
Me, it's being put on blast, bro. It's
humiliation.
It's a humiliation.
That's what I thought. I'm like, actually, it's not, but people made it about something else.
Yeah. Like, it wasn't about August.
Yeah. I don't think it was.
Yeah.
Because they're decades in with this arrangement.
Knew the guy.
Yeah.
And he was probably not the first one.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
I think maybe it just makes it worse because he's a kid.
He's a kid, that's all.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And he made a song about it.
Yeah, I know. Nah.
Yeah. But it is true. I mean, like, I think he probably didn't. I mean, like, even Will's, it's only coming out now. I mean, Will, for most movies that he did about Eva Longoria and those kind of things, it was almost not hush hush, but it was known that, look, that's how they did their thing.
Yeah.
And you've been in it for decades. But now it comes back to the previous thing where yo Mo, bro, you gonna let this man talk to you like that?
Yeah.
And then it now becomes a crisis of conflict. Like I really don't care about this, but this person or society is now putting that pressure. Like, yo, you're looking like a punk, bro.
Yeah, I hate society for that, man.
Yeah, because do you know why it's whack about society? Because they don't really. It's disingenuous why they say those kind of comments. They don't really care about you being made look like a punk or being put on blast.
Nah.
They want to, if anything, they're just trying to stoke an unnecessary fire.
It actually works. It applies across a board, like all of life.
Yeah.
Like any decision that you need to take, or a job that you need to leave, or I don't know, like a certain kind of way that you decide to treat your kids.
Can I give you a good example? I think our generation, there are things where we're not so hung up with how our wives are. Something like your wife wearing her trousers in front of your father-in-law in some cultures is taboo, but you don't give.
Yeah.
But all it takes is one aunt to be like, Modisi. And then she pulls you to the side. And it becomes a thing. Like your wife
Then it becomes a thing.
Exactly. Yeah. But for you, you've known your wife. It's like if something as simple as like,
she's a great person.
Doesn't change her.
Yeah.
Your wife could be a chain smoker. It's an outfit. She smokes. But in black family, hey, she smokes.
That's not an outfit.
Even smoking or drinking, they're like...
Yeah, drinking is...
I'm like, me and my wife sit on the balcony, we smoke every
together.
Day. Yeah. There's not a problem.
Exactly.
But when you get to the elderly, then you see, then they start fucking with your mind.
Yeah.
It's no longer comfortable anymore to smoke on the balcony with your wife.
Yeah.
Especially as a man, because...
And then you have kids.
Yeah.
And they take it further than you.
And now it's about, okay...
And I hate society for that, but I just wish that we could just leave each other the hell alone.
I don't
but that's not going to happen. But
yeah, because I think...
It's just... I hate it.
Yeah. You're right, because it infringes on everyone's right to live the life that you want to live. Because if you really think of it, like in an example of relationships, you could have a great relationship with a woman who's got tattoos, or she smokes, or y'all smoke weed together, right? Your relationship could even be better than maybe the older generation where it's all uppity and steeped in culture and your wife doesn't even have a voice. Like a lot of us are open to being challenged by our partners because you want to become a better person.
Yes.
Whereas the older generation, that's taboo. And that's kind of an old way of doing it. But then your family might check you on like, yo, you're going to let it, as a man, as culture, as this.
But you know what?
And you want that though.
It's and you'll see it as we grow. I mean, I don't know, because I think at some stage I remember kind of going through this where you generally don't have a personality because you're just always blending with the society. And then once you actually establish a personality and then you walk away from it, however way it is, they make it a problem. But that's what the issue is, actually.
Yeah, a lot of people punish you for it, yeah.
Yes, a lot of people don't realize that the world could be better if we could all have our personalities. We don't have to like the same thing, the three of us. You can like what you like.
Be the best version of yourself.
But just because if the two of us like something, we don't have to make you bad because the two of us like it and you don't. It shouldn't be like that, right?
Yeah.
It's the herd mentality, because what you find is, look, if I've got a boss who makes corny jokes, I'ma laugh, paycheck. You see
No,
now,
man.
fam, I've got bills to pay, bro. But
That shit is not funny.
it's not funny. But hey, bro, if you lie and I got like, yo, if you like, it's actually a good point, because I think society would benefit if everyone was the best version of themselves. But you actually gave a good point, because what you alluded to about how people might say, Modise, when he got married, he changed, or when he got money, he changed, or when he moved to Joburg, he changed. It's like, no, in my most innate level, this is how I always was. I just didn't have the opportunity to express myself. But now that I'm grown and have my own voice, I might respectfully not agree with some of the things that my parents believe, or my religion, or my area, and then but then they'll push it like, you get the judgment. Oh, when he went to Joburg, now he doesn't drink this with us, or he's too good for this. But what they don't realize is, at your core, even because sometimes you can see personalities in little children. You can see the ones who are go-getters. You can see when little kids play who is destined for certain things, the idiosyncrasies. But like you're saying, society, unfortunately, it makes you conform to things for whatever reasons. Coming back to of not being laughed, not being judged, you don't want to do that, whether it's a paycheck or whatever. But I believe people are what they are if you give them a chance to express themselves. But what is the risk, though? Like, you come back to Jade and Will.
Yeah, so let me ask you a question, because I went through this recently with a friend of mine. We were just talking, and he was sharing his thoughts. He's in a relationship. It's been 2 years, and he's being starting to be asked questions. Whoa, what's your plan about us? As in, are we gonna get married? Are we on this? Are we on this for a long term or what? Right? And then he kind of had his concerns which were, for the lack of a better word, let's say financially. He's like, I don't like, for example, not that this is what he said, I don't like how she spends money, and I think she doesn't have financial
acumen.
So I'm like, how many of us actually think about that? You kind of have to work at your person to understand you. And that's actually work. Like, you can love someone however that you love them, but you still have to teach them that I don't like TV. I like to exercise, or you need to teach them to like the things you like, or understand them at least, And then they obviously have to do the opposite. But a lot of people, what a lot of people want to do is they'd rather say there's, the dating game is the pits. Yeah. Because you want to find the perfect person. From where?
No perfect people allowed, bro.
No, but
I'm agreeing with you. That perfect people. Sorry, but you're right. Perfect people don't agree. But I think it's almost an instant gratification era, because Twitter's a good space where you see people just not being willing to be in it for the long haul. Because I ultimately believe what works, like Nas says, you get nothing without struggle and hard work. One of my favorite Nas lines. So same thing with relationships. If you don't like the fact that and it could be both ways. You might have a husband who's frivolous with money and the wife is more prudent. You're not going to change that person overnight, because that's how they've been. You're two people coming together with maybe there's similarities, but there's polar opposite perspectives to some things. You might click on a lot of things. The love is there, but love, like I've learned, love is not enough. If you're in it for the long haul, how do you build with someone who payday, we're going shopping, we're balling out, we're spending, and the other person's like, let's put money aside and build for the future? You have to work at making that person understand. Whereas nowadays, it's almost a case of, I don't have time for this, throw in the towel, and I've got my list of requirements of the kind of person I want. Why not build that person?
I guess maybe what I'm asking is it, because you're kind of allowed to do whatever you want, right?
Yeah.
Some people, when they see those red flags, quote unquote, they leave.
Yeah.
Other person decides to work at that person. Why do you want to shop?
I'm more forgiving of that than the person that leaves because of coming back to the societal pressure thing. Like, let's say, for example, I'm gonna use a wild example. I'm just gonna use a wild ass example. we grew up together.
Yeah.
This goes from your neighborhood or whatnot, right? We had wild teenage years. Some things were done, a lot of which you know about. But at some point in the future, you fall in love with this girl.
Yeah.
But for some reason, because now everybody knows all those things that you guys were doing in your teens, it's now reason enough for you to decide not to settle down with her. Like, you've just lost somebody that could have been a soulmate over what other people will think about you having chosen this girl. And it happens a lot.
That's not even the wildest example, because if you really think of it, like let's if you went to varsity,
that's very common.
It's very common. If you went to varsity, everyone had a crazy phase at varsity, But one thing I actually do respect for women is women once they're done post varsity, they can switch it up real quick for the right person. Whereas gents, it might be a case of like Modisa is saying, like, yo, she's got rep, but do you miss out on a potential soulmate to save face, or to get the person that you think you're supposed to get, or the person that you think your family wants, as opposed to the person you need? Because ultimately, none of us are perfect. Everyone's got stuff in their closet. But once again, it comes full circle to this societal pressure.
But the problem with life is you then leave that person to find someone else with something else that you still don't agree with.
No one takes all the boxes.
But now you're wondering, okay, why are you in your 30s and you're single?
Yo, bro, we could unpack that, bro, because...
And you could be single if you want to be single, that's okay. But if you're asking yourself, why am I? Then it's because you don't want to deal with people. But then the reality is you have to deal with someone at the end of the day. You just have to choose who that person is.
I've got a bit of a morbid... I don't say it's morbid. My definition of love, if I'm going to be honest, is being with someone whose shit you can put up with the most. It's got nothing about the airy-fairy stuff. Look, fam, the airy-fairy stuff, fam, this is real life. It's not a movie. It's not a soapy. The person who you can be tolerant of their flaws, you can go far with that person.
Yeah.
Accommodate their bullshit. They accommodate your bullshit.
Yeah.
Because 9 times out of 10, if you think of a daily life with bills and taxes and COVID and kids, you're dealing with more bullshit than happy moments. You savor the happy moments because they're kind of fleeting. So if you don't have the tolerance to have a person who, like I see girls talking about, yo, this nigga snores. Stop putting your husband on blast, bro. Find a solution for his snoring, bro. We don't need to hear that. Like dead ass, bro. Like you bugging, bro.
Get earbuds.
Get earbuds. Do something, bro. I don't know. Give him a shot of whiskey before he goes to bed or something. I don't know. But it's exactly that. But it is a sad situation where, like, if you really think of it, people pass up, even with jobs. It's like that element of sticking things through is no longer there. And I don't know where we got this whole thing of the complete project of people. It's like, I don't have kids, but with parenting, what you aspire your child to be at and what they're going to be in life, it's never going to be at any given time. You have to chip away at it, because what you're going to find with kids, they take traits from both parents, good and bad. Mm-hmm. All parents say, like, yo, this one, I'm short-tempered, he's like me, I don't like that. And also, you also learn by your being...
you actually learn about yourself.
You learn about yourself, because that kid is a reflection, because you can see exactly what that kid is. And then, so you have to work at it. But it's funny now, sometimes it's like, even with our careers, there's people, like, I'm in the people placement space. There's people CVs, yo, like, they're really like, I don't know, like a traffic fine book of just skipping jobs and never staying it out. You don't complete. And it's like, yo, how do you build character or substance if you never stick things through? Because it's not pleasant at the time. I call it like, it's like the wilderness period. To get to the promised land, you have to deal with some form of bullshit. Mm-hmm. And it's never fun, but I can guarantee you, it's like, it's a simple, lame analogy would be just like, yo, you build muscles by muscle tearing. When you're pumping iron, when you're running, there are muscle tears, but for the abs, the body, it's the pain. For you to get that one compliment at work, like, hey, bro, you look good. Are you working out? Oh, you look stunning in that dress. It's hours in the gym. It's hours in the road. But that one compliment will make it worth it. But people want to sit on the couch and get those fake-ass Verimark Vibro shakes and get a six-pack. Sorry for putting that corporate on blast, but that shit doesn't work. And that's a euphemism for how, unfortunately, we want it like that. Yeah. But yeah, man, I mean, it is what it is. But shout out to Cyril. He's got a tough decision to make. I just came back to him. Either one's going to define his legacy, bro.
Yeah, man. I just wish we were more kind of...
Tolerance, bro.
More kind of to each other. I think there are a lot of people that are supposed to be together that aren't, because of what will people
say, think.
What will people say?
The Dojo.